Hello everyone, and welcome to MyniQ podcast. I'm your host, and I'll be sharing short English stories and conversations with you every day. Today's episode is The Secret of Compulsory Education. And the text level is 2. Learn about words like can and must and may talk about things that finished and things that are still happening, and compare things. Stick around till the end for 5 quick questions to test your understanding. Alright then, let's get listening.
The Secret of Compulsory Education. I still remember the day my parents took me to a small school in our village. It was a one-room building with a rusty gate and a sign that read, Compulsory Education. My friends and I had heard rumors about this place, but we never knew what it was like inside. As we entered, we were greeted by a strict-looking teacher who introduced himself as Mr. Kumar. He explained that we would be learning the basics of reading, writing, and arithmetic for the next 5 years. I was excited to learn new things, but my friends seemed hesitant. One of them, Roland, whispered to me that he didn't want to go back home after school hours because his parents wouldn't let him play with his friends. I reassured him that we would have plenty of time for fun during our free periods. As the days went by, we settled into a routine. Mr. Kumar was strict, but he was also kind and helped us when we struggled. We learned about different tenses, such as the present and past, and how to use them in sentences. I found it fascinating to see how words could change meanings depending on the context.
Now, let's move on to the conversation between Billy, Meg, Kelly, and their teacher, Louis, after reading the novel.
I loved how the story started with Billy's memory of going to school for the first time. It was so relatable.
I know, right? I loved how the author described the small school and the rusty gate. It made me feel like I was there too.
Yeah, but what really got me was when Billy's friend Rowan whispered to him about not wanting to go back home after school hours. That's so true for a lot of kids, you know. I'm glad you guys picked up on that detail. It shows how the author understands the struggles of childhood and wants to make readers feel seen.
And I loved how Mr. Kumar was strict but kind at the same time. That's exactly how some teachers are, right?
Totally. And it made me think about how important it is for kids to have role models like Mr. Kumar, who can help them grow and learn.
Yeah, and I loved how the author didn't shy away from showing the imperfections of childhood and the challenges that come with growing up. Exactly, it's a beautiful portrayal of what it means to be human, flaws and all, and it made me want to go back and read more about Billy's journey.
Now, let's test your understanding of the novel and the dialogue with 5 questions. Question 1. What was Billy's initial impression of his parents taking him to school? A. He was scared of Mr. Kumar. B. He loved the rusty gate and the small school building. C. He didn't want to go back home after school hours. D. He found it fascinating to learn new things. E. He was excited to meet his friends. The answer is D. He found it fascinating to learn new things. Question 2. What did Rowan whisper to Billy? A. He didn't want to play with his friends during free periods. B. He didn't like the strict-looking teacher, Mr. Kumar. C. He didn't want to go back home after school hours because his parents wouldn't let him play. D. He wanted to learn more about different tenses. E. He loved how words could change meanings depending on context. The answer is C. He didn't want to go back home after school hours because his parents wouldn't let him play. Question 3. What was Billy's friend Rowan's concern? A. He didn't want to learn the basics of reading, writing, and arithmetic. B. He didn't like Mr. Kumar's teaching style. C. He didn't want to go back home after school hours because his parents wouldn't let him play. D. He was worried about failing in school. E. He wanted to stay at school for fun. The answer is C. He didn't want to go back home after school hours because his parents wouldn't let him play. Question 4. How did Billy's friend Rowan feel about going back home? A. He was excited to go back home and play with his friends. B. He didn't want to go back home after school hours because his parents wouldn't let him play. C. He loved how Mr. Kumar helped him when he struggled. D. He found it fascinating to see how words could change meanings depending on context. E. He was worried about not learning enough in school. The answer is C. He loved how Mr. Kumar helped him when he struggled. Question 5. What did Billy's friend Rowan whisper to him? A. He loved the rusty gate in the small school building. B. He didn't want to go back home after school hours because his parents wouldn't let him play. C. He was excited to meet his friends during free periods. D. He found it fascinating to learn new things. E. He wanted to stay at school for fun. The answer is C. He was excited to meet his friends during free periods. That's it for today's quiz. How many did you answer correctly? Thanks for tuning in to my channel today. I hope you enjoyed the stories and conversations and found the quiz challenging yet fun. Don't forget to subscribe or follow us for more daily English learning content. Until next time, keep practicing your English and have a wonderful day.